guys, it's me again. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be covering 90 Day Fiance The Other Way, Season 1, Episodes 6 and 7. I watched them in the wrong order, so that was kind of annoying because I realized I was missing some plot points because I knew some things, but then I knew there was a build up to it, and I was wondering how come I know that what's his name? Corey doesn't get picked up, but how come I'm not seeing that? So forgive me if I kind of mention episode 7 first before 6 or vice versa. I still don't remember these guys' names, so let's start off with Paul and Karini. So Paul and Karini go shopping for baby clothes or just baby stuff. They're so not prepared. Paul is expected to get like a permanent residency in Brazil, so he'll be able to work and take care of their child. Karini, surprisingly, so far has been the voice of reason. I'm very surprised with how reasonable she sounds. I do agree with her 100% that babies are very expensive, and Paul seems like he's not getting that memo. Whatever savings he has does not seem like a lot, because he's banking getting his permanent residency so he can get a work permit and work. So he finally hears back from the Brazilian government, I'm guessing, to find out he's been denied his application due to terroristic genocide, I don't know, a whole bunch of crazy crap. Which at first I was like, Paul, what's on your record? Paul, what did you do? But then I realized that they misinterpreted some of the English, and the way it was translated was not proper. So then it ended up having his record look crazy when it's not. So he freaks out, and he does his Paul just running away. But he eventually goes to, I guess, an immigration lawyer or something of that nature to talk to him, to ask him what are his thoughts. And he told him basically he's going to have to appeal, and he doesn't know how long that appeal is. It seems like Paul's going to have to stay in the country just on his tourist visa. But I think it's cutting it really close, because I believe Karini is 7 months pregnant and Paul can be there for 3 months. So he'd probably be able to be there for the baby's birth, but then he would have to leave. So he's decided to appeal. And that's it with him. So next we have Jenny and Submit. So there really wasn't much with them. Jenny is trying to get used to life in India, which I feel like she complains a lot for someone who's living in a different country. You signed up for a different way of life, so you're gonna get what you signed up for. So Submit has a secret that he needs to tell Jenny, and at first I thought he was gonna say like, oh, I'm married, or like my parents have a girl for me or something like that. But then no, he tells Jenny that he quit his job and he has no financial means to support them. He quit his job because he wanted to spend time with Jenny and get her settled in with the culture and lifestyle, which I was like, that's such a stupid reason for you to quit your job, because getting her acquainted with your culture won't be great if you're homeless. I'm just saying. So obviously Jenny's like heartbroken and she's upset because she's like, you said you're gonna take care of me, and blah blah blah. And so they eventually decide that they have to use her savings. Luckily, the US dollar will go a long way in India, but it won't last forever, and she plans on being there forever. She plans on getting married one day so she can get her work permit. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that, but that's all with that. Next we have Tiffany and Ronald. So Tiffany, it's been Ronald's first day, or at least second day out of rehab, and he's being thrown, or a bachelor party is being thrown for him by his best friend, which I was like, why? I'm confused. You have all these addiction issues, you have all these problems, and you're gonna go have a bachelor party, which is fine, but it's all secretive, and your friends, which it shows the type of friends you're around, seem like they don't care about your well-being. Because it's like, if my friend just finished rehab for alcohol abuse, the next day I take her to a bar and pressure her to drink, and not only drink but just get tipsy and stuff like that. So I thought that was like really crappy as a best friend, because you should have been like making sure your boy was on top. Ronald's friend basically lied to Tiffany and said there was gonna be no excessive drinking, there'll be no women, and he's essentially gonna behave himself. That went out the door. There was excessive drinking, peer pressure, and stuff like that, which is fine if you don't have addiction issues. And there was a stripper. She looked dirty, I'm sorry, and nasty. I don't know, when I saw a stripper I was like, oof, I feel like I need a bath looking at her. So basically everything Tiffany says that she didn't want was there. Meanwhile, on the other hand, Tiffany's went to her bachelorette party thrown by his family, and I thought it was really beautiful. They did a great job of welcoming her. It was very tame. It was family friendly because her son was there, other kids were there, but they still had a little drink and stuff like this. And his aunt, which I thought was really sweet, surprised her with a Thai massage. It was kind of weird when the women were like, take off your shirts. That vibe just kind of seemed weird. But either way, they didn't have to, and all was well with them. So yeah, that's it with them. Next we have Corey and Evelyn. So, as we know, Evelyn did not pick up Corey from the airport and told him that he needs to find his way there. Go take a bus to Ingabao. And I did not know Corey had a full-on TV in his... I'm like, Corey, why are you bringing that type of stuff? Like, you gotta bring stuff that matter. With a third world country, like, you don't really need TV. Go outside and do stuff. So he's nervous about obviously getting mugged and things happening to him. And it's 3 hours away, so he has quite a journey. Meanwhile, on the other hand, Evelyn is with her family talking about Corey's arrival, and like her mom and dad are making good points of this, like, shouldn't you have picked him up, and like this shows that he really loves you and he wants to be with you. But Evelyn is kind of still has the notion of that she doesn't want to get married, which, okay, fine, you don't want to get married, but is she not thinking about what happens after his visa expires? He's planning on marrying you and then applying for citizenship or the equivalent. So what do you think is going to happen? Even if, and you guys are supposedly in love with each other, so it's not like you would marry for convenience. You would marry for love. But she doesn't want to get married at all. And like, I don't see how he can stay there without that happening, so you tell me how. Anyways, that happens, but it's no big deal. He eventually finds his way there. When he finds his way there, he finds out that he has to stay with her grandmother, because their roof in their current home isn't being repaired, and the car that she has is really broke down. I don't know if she just spent Corey's money on whatever she wanted to and got the bare minimum for things, but like I wouldn't expect that if I am moving to this country and I gave you the money for those things. I would assume that things are being maintained and in decent condition, but like that's none of my business. Anyways, so that happens and he finally gets there, so he meets her grandmother and sees his accommodations, which is kind of a mattress in a room because the room doesn't really have a roof, so it's like outdoors. I was trying to think if there's ever a time I've slept outdoors, but no, there hasn't. Not the best conditions, or definitely not what he's used to. Evelyn was being bitter and saying that you should be humble what my grandma's doing for us and stuff, and I was like, so your grandma would have let you just sleep on the streets? Is there no hotels in Ingabao? Like Airbnb? Okay, that's maybe too much, but like a hotel or somewhere you can pay someone for a room. Corey talks about like mosquitoes and if there's any protection, repellent, or mosquito nets. Evelyn's really rude about it. She's also not being very accommodating to him because like I understand that she wants him to find his own way and embrace the culture, but he's also has a lot of culture shock and he's looking at you for support, so like why aren't you supportive? If I knew someone who came to my country to visit and stuff, I would be showing them an amazing life. I wouldn't be showing them real life, but we'd be living it up, having a grand old time. You'd be like, oh my god, this city's the best, I don't want to go home, type of thing. Corey's not getting that impression. And he's also not getting a mosquito net, so good luck to Corey's legs, because when one mosquito bites, like all 50 of them bites. So that's kind of it with that couple. Next we have Laura and Aladdin. I want to call him Aladdin the way I see his names written down, but I'll stick with Aladdin. So you kind of start to see the problems in the relationship. I don't see this relationship working, but you know, I'm just saying that based on superficial reasons. It seems that Laura can be very jealous, which I don't understand how, Laura, you decide to get a younger man, he's attractive. Other people feel the same way. I think he's very attractive as well, but to the point that you need to block this girl. Who's this girl following you? Like, social media is very open, and especially if your profile public, anybody and everyone can follow you. You can't be fact checking every single person. Not really fact checking. You can't be like monitoring every single person that follows you and stuff like this. Yeah, there are going to be attractive people following you. There's also going to be unattractive people following you. So like, get off his case. And his way of dealing with things is blocking her. So he blocks that girl all the time. You're not listening to him and blah blah blah, so block. And then until you come to your senses, I will unblock you. Which is kind of treating her kind of like a child, but sometimes it's just better to kind of do stuff like that to get people to calm down. So but she's still sticking in the situation, in the relationship, even though she's constantly getting blocked. But you know, that's none of my business. Anyways, so she's the days are starting to count down as to when she gets to go to Qatar. Her son hasn't been very supportive, but I understand his point of view. This guy could be kind of his older brother age, and he's dating his mom. He knows how his mom stays. He knows his mom has a temper. His mom can be very aggressive, and he doesn't see it working. So for him, he's kind of just like, why don't we just kind of stop all of this, and why don't you just end it and stuff like that. He expressed his feelings as to why he doesn't think it's gonna work, and he feels hurt that his mom hid this marriage and relationship from him. I don't understand how your mom's going to Qatar for 3 months and she's not telling you why. I don't even know what I would do to my mom if she's trying to go somewhere for 3 months and not notify her kids. Because what if something were to happen to you and stuff? People ask me, why are you here, blah blah. I'm just gonna say, I don't know. That sounds foolish. So Laura is still fighting with Aladdin to all the way to the point that she gets there. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if he actually shows up to the airport. And last but not least, we have Jihoon and Devin. So Devin is meeting Jihoon and his family at the airport. She wants to make a good impression, and she wants to get Drusilla under control, but like that girl doesn't listen to nobody. So just between finding out where she needs to be and Drusilla rolling on the floor acting like a fool, acting wild, she ends up having a breakdown. Plus she's also pregnant, so she's more emotional than normal, and she has a breakdown when she's crying, and Jihoon meets her. So Jihoon meets her and sees her crying, so he's kind of like, okay, why are you crying, and like, what's going on? But I guess it's just hard to explain. Like, I'm pregnant, I'm emotional, like, just a lot. There's a lot going on. Anyways, not the greatest impression on the family. I think his mother's a little bit shady, but I'm here for it. And they go off to their Airbnb. She brings them to Vegas because it's more to show and it's more touristy. They love the house. The house is great, and now it's time for sleep time. And Devin tells Jihoon to go get Drusilla because Drusilla's sleeping in their bed. And Jihoon's like, what about sex? And oh, I forgot. Speaking of sex, Laura goes to a sex shop to get sex toys to teach Aladdin how to please her. Aladdin, sorry, how to please her. Okay, I digress. So he's like, what about sex? And she's like, we'll have sex in a different room and stuff like that. It really sucks because what he sees in American movies is not real life, and he kind of needs to understand that movies are not real unless it's based on a true story, that not everybody kisses their kid goodnight in their own bed. A lot of children sleep with their parents, especially I find single parents. It's more convenient. There's not a lot of space. It's really expensive to have your kid have its own room, so I kind of understand from that perspective. Anyways, it's the morning, and she decides she wants to make them an American breakfast. Those eggs look despicable. Those eggs, I was like, is there cheese in there or something? It looked gooey. It was a lot of chaos. His mom was in the kitchen too, so his mom was trying to help, but Jihoon wasn't translating properly that, like, mom, dad, chill. And all the while, Drusilla is over here, Drusilla's over there, Drusilla's up there, Drusilla's down there. She's on the table at one point after the eggs have been made, and she's eating out of that thing, which I was like, how did this girl get up on the table? In my house, in my mother's house, you would never be allowed to be sitting on the table and then eating food from on the table. Like, you would have got slapped. I feel like Drusilla has a problem with authority, and she needs a lot of discipline. So Jihoon's mother, I don't know if she's never seen bacon before, but I can understand she kind of comparing bacon and pork belly, but bacon is like fully cooked. Pork belly is a little bit more mushier. I felt like she was eating raw bacon, and I was like, ugh, I hope she doesn't get sick. Otherwise than that, the food was okay with them. They kind of said, you know, it is what it is at the end of the day. Hopefully she'll be able to show his parents more so they don't have such a bad impression, because they already think bad of her, or not well of her, because she's a single mother. She's a child out of wedlock, and she's having another child with another man, and she's young and blah blah blah. So they also need to look at their son, because your son is joking girls with no condoms and just like spreading his seed out there. So yeah. Anyways, that sums up the 2 episodes of 90 Day Fiance The Other Way, season 1, episodes 6 and 7. I am going to try my best to be recording these videos once a week because it makes it much easier. But yeah, so don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm just a dumb cunt, fucking sick and tired of it. Maybe I could front love, maybe I could buy a zip, maybe I get fucked up. Next time I could save some. Why it's gotta be like this? Why it's gotta be that way? Put it inside. Feel so rise up, banging on that loud.